Good morning, students. In last class, we have discussed there is an ecological succession as well as the nutrient cycles. So it is completing of the topic the ecosystem. So in ecosystem, we have studied what is the definition of an ecosystem, and the ecosystem will consist of it is an interaction of both living as well as non-living organisms. So it is a biotic and abiotic interaction of a biotic as well as abiotic environment. So it is called as an ecosystem. So here in ecosystem will having biotic components are two types. One is autotrophic and heterotrophs. Here autotrophs means they prepare their own food materials. So here the plants, all green plants and bacteria are also we can call cyanobacteria are also we can taken place as producers, or phytoplanktons are also taken place. That means all plants which prepare their own food materials we can call them as producers, and these producers are present at the base of the pyramid. Already have studied at the base of the pyramid their producers are occupying, and the top of this pyramid will occupies the carnivores, that is tertiary carnivores. So here herbivores, that means they cannot prepare their own food materials, but they depends on other organisms as food materials. So here the herbivores are classified into three types, that is primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. So already that is we have studied the biotic components. Already we have studied abiotic component. There are four factors are presenting such as temperature, water, sunlight, and soil. These are the four components which are presenting. So here these are the abiotic components. Later we have studied the productivity. There are four stages of four components in an ecosystem. One is the productivity, second one is the decomposition, and third one is energy flow, and last one is the nutrient cycles. Already have studied productivity as well as decomposition and energy flow. Energy flow is unidirection, where it is transferred from producers to the consumers level, and here it shows 10% law that was founded by Einstein, where here he explains that only 10% energy is transferring from one tropical level to the another tropical level, and remaining 90% is reduced, that is evaporated, that is lost in the form of heat or in the form of transpiration, in the form of respiration. In the form of respiration, here that energy is utilized, or otherwise in the form of heat, that is it will be evaporated into the environment. That is only 10% of energy is transferred from one tropical level to the another tropical level. So this law we can call as a 10% of law, and it is a unidirection, that is it flowing from producers to the consumers. It is flowing is taken place. Again the backflow will not be taken place. So it is a unidirectional in conditions. And also we have studied ecological succession. From ecological succession to the here lastly we have discussed the nutrient cycles. There are two type of nutrient cycles. One is carbon and second one is phosphorus cycles, that we have discussed in the last class. Now coming to the that is the next topic, that is biodiversity. Biodiversity and its conservation. So here biodiversity and its a conservation. So here what is a biodiversity? So here a biodiversity, we know that the biodiversity means it is can be defined as the variety of life forms of the variety of life forms of various tropical, that is various levels of an biological organization. That means here the variety of life forms at various levels, that is the biological levels are taken place, so that this can be, we can call as a biodiversity, or otherwise we can use the word as the sum total of species richness, or it can be defined as a sum total of species richness, or otherwise it can be defined as the variety of all forms of life is known as a biodiversity. That is the sum total, that means the variety of species at various biological and organization, then we can call this as the biodiversity. That means the variety of, it can be defined as the variety of all life forms, all life forms at various levels of, at various levels of biological organization, then it is called as the biodiversity. That means the variety of all life forms at various levels of biological and organization. Biological organization means here it takes place from a species level or genus level or an ecosystem level. If the species are presenting, then we can say as a biological level. So it is called as a biodiversity. So here it can also be defined in the form of, it also can be defined the total species, the total here, the sum total of a species richness. It can be also defined as the sum total of species richness, or it can be defined as the variety of all life forms of the biosphere. Here it can be defined as this total, the variety of all life forms in a biosphere. We can call as the biodiversity, or otherwise here simply we can explain two forms. One is bio means living organisms or living forms, the forms, and diversity means a distribution. So we can say as the distribution of a species, that means distribution of the organisms or distribution of flora and fauna throughout the Earth's surface, then it is called as a biodiversity. That means here we can use different forms, that is it can be explained as or defined as the variety of living all life forms at various levels of biological organization, or sum total of species richness, or variety of all life forms in the biosphere, or otherwise we can explain the total number of, that means distribution of plants and animals, that is distribution of flora and fauna in the throughout the Earth's surface, so that we can call this as a biodiversity. And the word biodiversity, the word biodiversity was coiled by Walter and Rosen in the year 1985. In the year 1985, the word biodiversity was given by the Walter and Erosion. Later it was explained, that means that the biodiversity was explained by Wilson, E.D. Wilson, Edward Wilson, that he explains that the variety of all life forms at various levels of biological and organization, or the sum total of species richness, or the variety of all life forms in the biosphere, we can call as a biodiversity. It was explained by the Edward Wilson, that is the variety of all life forms at various levels of the biological and organization. So here this type we can call as a biodiversity. Next, coming to the types of biodiversity. The types of a biodiversity. The types of biodiversity. Types of biodiversity. So here there are three types of the biodiversities are presenting. One we can call as the genetical biodiversity. The genetical biodiversity, and second one is the species biodiversity, and a third one we can call as an ecological biodiversity. So here the biodiversity is classified into three types, that are the genetical biodiversity, the species biodiversity, and an ecological biodiversity. So here coming to the genetical diversity, here that means the living forms which are presenting, that are taken place at a genetical level, the species richness which is presenting at a genetical level, the species richness, the species richness present at a genetical level, then we can call that as the genetical biodiversity. That means the total number of species which are presenting, or the living forms which are presenting, that are presenting at the genetical level, at any genetical level. If the species richness is presenting at a genetical level, then we can call as the genetical biodiversity. So here an example we can take in place as the Rafflesia formitoria. The Rafflesia formitoria is an medicinal plants where that having the more genetical values are presenting, where they produce the chemical substance. It produces the chemical substance called as raspantine. So here it produces a chemical substance called as the respondents, where due to the presence of these respondent will having a more genetical values are presenting. So such type of species which having more genetical values, then we can call them as the genetical biodiversity. Example, Rafflesia, Vermitori are genetic that is produce the substance called as respentine, where here it produce having more genetical values are presenting. And also here we can take in place the mango species, the various types of mango species. The various genetical species of mangoes are the rice, that is rice species, or we can take in place any type. That means if we take human species also, there are genetical varieties like Mongolian or Corcoid species or Negroid species. So here various human species which are presenting, they are having various genetical levels of human species like Mongoloids and Negroids or Crucoids. These are the various types of species having various genetical levels they are presenting. So such type of having different genetical values or level if they are presenting, we can call them as the genetical biodiversity. Next, coming to the second one, if you see in the species diversity, So here the species diversity means here the distribution of species is taken place. That means distribution of organisms at a species level. The distribution, that means life forms are presenting at a distribution or distribution of organisms at a species level. Then we can call this as a species diversity, or life forms which are presenting, they are life forms which are presenting at the species level. That species level we can call that as the species biodiversity. We know that species means a group of organisms having the same common ancestors which can be able to produce a fertile and offsprings. Then such type of are called as a species. It means a group of organisms having a common ancestor. They are produced from common ancestor, but they having capability of producing young ones. So such type of organisms we can call them as a species. So if the organisms are presenting at a species levels, that means all life forms which are presenting, they are presenting at a species level, then we can call as a species a biodiversity. Example, if you see in here in Western Ghats to the Eastern Ghats. That means from Western Ghats to the Eastern Ghats will having the species richness. Amphibians species richness is more. Amphibians species richness is more in Western Ghats when compared to the Eastern Ghats, where having the species richness in Western Ghats, the amphibian species are more than that of the Eastern Ghats. So that level we can call as the species diversity, where they are presenting at a species level. Next, coming to the third one. What is that third one means? Here we can take in place this as the ecological biodiversity. It can be taken place. The third one is the ecological biodiversity. That means the species are presenting at the organisms or life forms. Life forms are present. Life forms are present at ecosystem level, at an ecosystem level. Then such type of diversity we can call as the ecological biodiversity. That means these organisms, that means living forms or living organisms are presenting at an ecological, that is ecosystem level should be presenting. If they are presenting at ecosystem level, then we can say that is an ecological biodiversity. We can call that as an ecological biodiversity we can call. So here an ecological ecosystem, example we can take in place as a forest ecosystem, forest or a dry land ecosystem, or a desert ecosystem, or an estuaries an ecosystem. So these are the various levels of an ecosystem where here the species are presenting. That means the species are presenting at the, or living organisms are presenting at an ecosystem level. Then we can say that is, we can call that as an ecological and ecosystems. So these are the three types of an ecological, that is types of a biodiversity. One is genetical. If the species are presenting at that means the organisms are present at genetical level, we can call as genetical biodiversity. If the organisms are present at species level, we can call as the species diversity. If the organisms are present at the ecosystem level, then we can call as an ecosystem biodiversity. Next, coming to the magnitude of the biodiversity. Third one, next one is the magnitude of a biodiversity. Now coming to the magnitude. So here the magnitude of the biodiversity, that is will be taken place, that is how the species, how many species are presenting on the Earth's surface. That means here we shows that the magnitude of the biodiversity will represents how many species are presenting on the Earth's surface. According to this, it was explained by the Robert May. Here according to the Robert May. Here he explains, Robert May, he explains that there are that means 1.3 millions of species are presenting. That is 1.3 millions of 1.3 millions of the species are presenting on the Earth's surface. Out of these Earth's surface, here the more species are presenting. Here the more species are the plants and the animal species only. So here out of these 1.3 million species of the Earth's surface, here will having the 66%. That is, if you say according to this, he says that there are 70%. That is, the 70% of species are presenting on the Earth are the animal species. 20% are presenting the animal species. In these animals also, here the more are presenting the insects. The more are presenting in animals. Here in animals it includes invertebrates as well as the vertebrates. Here we will having the vertebrates and invertebrates, that is species, amphibians, reptiles, as well as insects, arthropods, all these are presenting in these 70% of animals. The insects are more in number. So here you know that already we know that in animals, that means in animal species, which is the largest, the animal kingdom means the arthropodons. The arthropoda, I means it is a largest phylum where it containing more amount of the animal species are presenting. In this, in the arthropoda also, here the insects are more in number. So here which species are in arthropoda, phylum arthropoda, which class is most high species are presenting means you are having the insects are presenting. Later it consists of mammalians are more in numbers. The mammalians are presenting, where we are having the 70% of animals are presenting, and also here a 22% will be presenting of the plant species. A plant species. In this plant species also, here in the plant species it consists of the bryophytes. Will consist of the bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and also the angiosperms. And also here will consist of the fungus. Fungi also will be presenting, where the fungi, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Out of these, in plants will having the more amount of the fungal species are presenting. The fungal species are more in number, when compared to the all the bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Out of these, the fungal spelment, the fungus species are more in they are more in a number. These are taken place according to the Robert May. But latest information, it shows that in the earth surface, that means in earth surface there are 1.8 millions of, having 8.7 millions of species are presenting on the earth surface. That is in earlier latest information is taken place here. Latest will shows that 8.7 millions of species are presenting. That means in these will having 8.7 millions of species are presenting on the earth surface. That is latest information will provides. That is, according to Meyer, it shows that 1.3 millions of species are presenting, but latest information will shows that there are 8.7 millions of species are presenting. Out of these 8.7 million species, 6.7 million species are found in the landforms. Here, out of these 8.7, 6.5 millions of species are present in landforms, and remaining 2.2 millions of species are present in oceans. These are presenting in the oceans, so that will having totally an 8.7 millions of species are presenting. Out of these 6.5 millions of species are present on the landforms and on the terrestrial, on the earth surface they are presenting on the, that is on the 6.5, and in oceans, that is in water forms, that is morely present in 2.2 millions of species are present in oceans, that is in water forms are presenting. That is the latest living forms. And also here in India we are having how many species are presenting. Here there are in India also we are having a more amount of species are presenting in India also. In India also we are having a more amount of the species are presenting. So how many species are presenting in India? That is, if you see in here, so here how many species are presenting in India? How many species are presenting? So here there are more than 45 species of plants species are presenting, and here in India, how many species are presenting? Here the 45,000 species of plants are presenting. In these plants, here 1500 species of the flowering plants. So here out of these 45,000 species of plants, will having 1500 species are presenting. 15,000 of species, not 400. 15,000 species are presenting of flowering plants, where these plants will occupy about 6% of the world population. That is, this in India will having this population will occupy the 6% of world's population, that is world's species. So here will having in India will having more amount of species are presenting. Along with this, here will will having the animals also. If you see in the animals, there are 76,000 of species of an animal species. That means 76,000 species of the animal species are presenting, where these 76 species are the animals. Where in these animals, here includes both vertebrates as well as invertebrate organisms are presenting. Out of these, here insects are more in a number are presenting. And also here in the total earth surface, here in earth surface, here will occupy, in India will occupies only 2.6% of the world surface will occupy. That is 2.1% is occupied. 2.1% of world, that is 2.1% of land form occupies in the world. But here when coming to the species richness, when coming to the species richness, in India will having occupies 2.1% of land. Here will consist of an 81% of species richness is presenting. 81.1%, that means 8.1, sorry, 8.1 not 8.7%. 8.7% of species richness is present. That is totally will occupies the 9% of world's population. That is here it occupies world's population. Occupies world population, world species population. So here will occupy, that means 2.1% is presenting in landforms, but in these in India, that means in the world, here India will occupy 2.1%. But when coming to species richness, will having an 8.7% of the species richness is presenting, that is total covered the entire world. So that here it is considered as India will consider as one of the biggest mega, that is mega countries where the world species are presenting. In the mega world, that means mega countries. In this 12 out of 12 world mega countries, India is one of the mega world countries where having a more amount of a species richness is presenting. So here out of 12 mega countries, here 12 mega countries, India is the one of them which having a more amount of species are presenting. That means 12 mega countries, 12 mega countries which occupies the species. In this, India is the one of the countries of 12 mega countries where will occupies an 8.7%, nearly it is a 9% in world's percentage, and 9% of the species are presenting in India, where here it shows that the magnitude of the biodiversity will be taken place. And next, if we coming to this, coming to the patterns of biodiversity, patterns of biodiversity, patterns of biodiversity. So here there are two type of patterns are presenting. One is latitudinal patterns, and the second one is the species richness. So here will shows the species area richness. Again, first one will shows that the latitudinal patterns, and second one is species area richness. Here it shows that the two types of the patterns are presenting. One is we can call as the latitudinal patterns, and the second one we can call as the species area richness, which is presenting. So what are these the latitudinal patterns and also the species area richness that will be discussed in the next class.